If you want to know what is on the CMA exams, you must watch this video because I'm going to walk you through what the actual exam looks like. If you have already attempted any part of the CMA exams, this green screen should look familiar to you. If you haven't, you're going to learn techniques that will help you prepare for the exams. And even if you have attempted any of it, you are going to be better prepared for the next part of your exams. You may also be interested in knowing how to save time on the exams or how to utilize the first 17 minutes of the exams. If that is the case, watch my previous video because I'm going to utilize some techniques I talked about in that video. So once I'm ready, and once you are ready with this screen, you go ahead and start the test by clicking on the Start Test at the bottom here. So we start test and we have our first question pops up. So let's see what it says. A leading manufacturer of electronic vehicles has accumulated customer driving interaction data through its unique pilot driver assist program. This data will be used to further develop more advanced autonomous features that the company plans to implement in the near future on its most popular module. In integrated reporting, the system used to accumulate and analyze the driver data is best categorized as, okay, so we are going to categorize the system, but not just categorize, but best. Notice how the best is emphasized, okay? So that means we could have two possible answers, but we have to choose the best. So you need to pay attention to these kind of clues, okay? You could have a possible answer, but we have to choose the best one, okay? Integrated reporting. In integrated reporting, we have 6 capital. Even before we look at the answer choices, let's try to answer it in our mind before we look at the answer choices. So we have 6 capitals in integrated reporting. I have an acronym for it. I call it SHIN. SHINMAFI. Okay. So S is for social interacting, SHIN interaction, and H is for human capital, I is for intellectual capital, and A is for natural capital, MA is for manufactured capital, okay, capital, and then FI is for financial capital. So these are our 6 capitals, okay, and we have to describe the system that was used. Okay, we know a system here, that was a driver assist program. So we have a system here, a system/program. Okay, this is a process. Okay, a process, when you want to describe process as tangible or intangible, we know it is an intangible. Okay, a process is an intangible property. Okay, or a system is an intangible property. You cannot touch it physically. So once I know that, I will go through my answer choices and see if I can eliminate, okay, any answer choice that is not correct. So human capital, those are the competencies and capabilities of employees. You cannot touch it, so it is intangible. That could possibly be an answer. Intellectual property or capital, that is also intangible. That is a possible answer. Natural capital, like land and water, those are tangible. You can touch them. So we are going to eliminate it by right-clicking on our mouse, and then it strikes the answer choice. And then we have manufactured capital, like lands and like roads and buildings. Those are also tangible, so we are going to strike it. So we see that we only have A and B remaining to choose from. Okay, human capital, the competencies could be true that we use employees' competencies to gather the data. Okay, we use employees' competencies to gather the data, but is employees' competencies and capabilities a system? Think about it. If the employee quits the job or quits the company and goes to another company, they go with their competencies and capabilities. The system, which is the program here, okay, stays with the company. So it is an intellectual property of the company. That system it belongs to the company. That's why it becomes intellectual. So because our human capital can be transferred, it is not intellectual property of the company. So the correct answer in this question is B, which is intellectual property. Once you answer a question, the question number changes from green to black to notify you that you have answered that question. If you want to move on to the next question, you can click here, the question number 2, or you can go down here and click on the next. I do some things to save time. If I am here, if my mouse is here, I don't go up there. I just click on the next. But if my mouse is over here, then I click on the question number. You need to do everything you can to save time. You have less than 2 minutes to answer one question. Of course, I will be taking longer than 1.48 seconds because I'm explaining things. If I were doing this without talking, I will go faster than this. But I want you to understand certain things and explain certain techniques to you. So let's go to question number 2. Then let me get rid of my annotation quickly. Okay, so here we have a company as okay, where one technique that comes in place here. Okay, I was going to read the whole question, but I realized we have a lot of information to read. I want to save time, so I'm not going to read the information. I'll go straight to the question or what is required to do. So it says the raw material price variance for the year is, so I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the price variance, okay? And price variance, because we are looking for price variance, is the difference between P. Okay, so difference between P, which is the price, which is different between the actual price and standard price. That is what we're looking for. And then we multiply that by actual quantity. Okay, when we're looking for price, is AP minus SP. That's the difference. We're looking for quantity. Variance is AQ minus SQ. You have to remember that. We're looking for labor variance, is AH minus SH. Please keep that in mind. Okay. Now, let's continue here with AP minus, let me rewrite this and make it look a little bit prettier. Do a better job than this. Okay, so AP minus SP multiplied by AQ. So what is our actual price? So we know actual is here, and the actual price is 2.02 minus standard price is up here, which is standard is the same as budgeted. So we get $2 per pound. So 2 here. So because we are finding the difference between AP, actual price, and standard price, and actual price is greater than standard price, I know the answer has to be unfavorable because we budgeted that we're going to spend $2 per pound, but we actually spent $2.02 per pound. I mean, we spent more than we budgeted, so it's going to be unfavorable. So I'm going to have 0.02 multiplied by actual quantity, which is 500,000. So 0.02 multiplied by 500,000 is 10,000. So we have $10,000 unfavorable for price variance. So let's look at our answer choices, and we only have one 10,000 here. So our answer is C. C is the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 3. In production process where joint product produced, the primary factor that would distinguish a joint product from a byproduct. Okay, so a byproduct is a low value product. Okay, so we have low value product that result, as a result of production process. Okay, and these are some things you have to start thinking about them in your mind. That helps you to quickly identify the possible or the best answer. Once it is high value, we classify it as a joint cost, joint product, sorry. So the difference is the value of the product or the sales value on things. So if it has a low value sale, it's a byproduct. If it has a high value sales, it is a joint product. So let's go to answer choices and see which the correct answer is. So we have a relative total sales value of the product. Yes, so that is a possible answer. Once you find the answer and you are sure, do not waste time, move on. And if you think you will have to come back to look at it, you can flag it by clicking on the flag this question at the bottom here. So you can flag it here, and then when you are done, later you can come back and check it. Okay, and also you can look at all the questions you have answered. So when I click here over there, so let me redo it right here, this ribbon here, it brings up questions I've answered, questions I've flagged, and I can filter here questions are attempted, questions are flagged, just one. Okay, so when you are done and you want to go through questions you have not attempted, you click there and it only brings questions you haven't attempted, questions you have flagged. So that makes reviewing easier instead of going through everything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to question number 4. So click on question number 4 and get rid of these right here. Okay, question number 4. A manufacturing company has the opportunity to submit a bid for 20 units of product, of which it has already produced 10 units. Okay, so we are bidding for 20 units and we have produced 10 units. The production manager believes that the learning experience on the first 2 lots, okay, so we have 10 lots each, at least the next 2 lots. Okay, the direct labor required on the first 2 lots was as follows. All right, so this question talks about learning curve and experience. Okay, so I'm going to make a little table here so you understand. So we have the units, the first lot and second lot. Okay, total hours, and then hours per unit. Okay, hour per unit. So total hours for the first lot is 5,000, which is 5,000 divided by 10 is 500. So 500 per unit. Each unit we spend 500 hours. The second one, which is the additional one, 3,000. Okay, we do not care about this one because we are bidding for 20. So we need to know how much, how many hours did we spend total on the 20 unit that we are bidding for. That is what is a concern for us. So we add the 5,000 for the 10 for the first batch, and then the second batch 3,000, which is 8,000. So 8,000 hours. When we divide 8,000 by 20, we are going to have 400. Okay, so we started with 500 and now we have 400. So our experience is we are going to have, now we have 400, which is 4 divided by 5, which is 0.8. Okay, so our experience is 0.8, but our learning curve is -1, which is 20%, or 5 minus 4. 500 minus 400 is 100 divided by 500 will give you 0.2. So the learning curve is 20%. So we are, we are learning at a rate of 20%, but the learning rate experience is 80% here. So the correct answer for this question is D. So D is the correct answer. Let's move to question number 5 and get rid of, clear everything here. Okay, so this also has a bunch of data. Okay, so I'm going to skip reading everything and go straight to the question, okay, or what is required. During May, 6,000 units were produced and the direct labor efficiency variance was 1,500 unfavorable. Based on this information, the actual number of direct labor hours, okay, we need actual in May was, okay, great. So remember the formula? Variance, efficiency variance, we have AH minus SH that I demonstrated previously, okay, multiplied by standard rate. So everything here, this formula should equal 1,500 unfavorable. Okay, 1,500 unfavorable. One thing I notice here, because it's unfavorable, the actual hours here has to be greater than the standard hours. Okay, so that will help me as I solve it. Because it's unfavorable, we spend more hours than we budgeted, which is the standard. So let's see how that works out. We need to find, based on it, we need to find the actual hours. So we don't know the actual hours, so we have AH minus standard hours. What is our standard hours? Okay, when we go back here, we budgeted 5,000 for 10,000 units. So that means 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So each unit we produce, we budgeted to spend 2 hours on it, and we produce 6,000 units. So that means our standard hours is 2 multiplied by 6,000, which is 12,000. I can stop right here. Since I know that actual hours has to be greater than standard hours, which is 12,000, I will go through my multiple choice, answer choice, and see which answer choice is greater than 12,000. So I'll go back and see A is less than 12,000, B is less than 12,000, C is less than 12,000, and then D is greater than 12,000. So if I were doing this on a CMA, I'm not going to move on to solve anything. I would just choose D, which is the correct answer, and move on. But for the sake of verifying that if that is really the correct answer, I'm going to solve it for you to see. So the standard rate is $15 right here. $15, everything equal 1,500. Okay, so let me get rid of this so I can have space and move on. All right, so we are going to divide everything here by 15 and everything here on the right hand side by 15. So we have AH minus 12,000 equals 1,500 divided by 15 would give us 100. So we move this one over here. So AH actual hours equals 12,000. 12,100, which is the correct answer here, Steve. But for the sake of understanding, that's why I demonstrated it. But if I were doing this on the CMA exam, I wouldn't spend time to continue to do any further calculation. Let's move on to the next one, which is question number 6 here. All right, which one of the following refers to a cost that remains constant? Do my notation. Remains constant, remain the same, okay? Remain the same as the volume of activity decreases or decreases within the relevant range. So we have relevant range. All right, this question, I will answer it in my mind before I look at the answer choices. So within the relevant range, costs that do not change is total fixed cost and variable unit variable cost. Okay, unit variable, let me rewrite this. So total fixed cost and unit variable cost. These two do not change within the relevant range. So I will go ahead and see if I have an answer there. Average cost per unit is not the correct one. Variable cost per unit, yes, that's the unit variable cost. Unit fixed cost, that's not, and this once I'm confident, I move on because I've answered it. You see that this question is very short, short sentences. You have to take advantage of this so you can set your timing when you get question that is longer than this. All right. So let's move on to the next question, which is question number 7. So question number 7, all right, so we have a bunch of data. So I am not going to read everything, but I will go straight to the question. Using indirect method, what is the amount of cash generated by operating activities? Great. So now I know I'm dealing with reconciliation. With indirect method, we need to start with net income and add back any non-cash expenses. Okay, and then add or subtract the changes we have here. So net income was right here. This is our net income. So once I know what I'm looking for, I don't read the whole question. I'll go through and look for the numbers because I need figures to answer this question. So 456,900. Okay, depreciation is here. So we add back depreciation, which is 45,600. All right, the company issued 3,000. So this one is not operation or operating activity. So we leave it there. Okay. Purchase one new building is also not operating. That's investment. So we leave it there. We only need the operating activities. So now we're going to find the changes here. Account receivable was 5680 and then it decreased. Okay. If account receivable decrease, that means we collected cash from customers. That is why account receivable decrease. So we are going to add back the cash that we collected, which the difference between these two is 11,560. Yeah, 11,560 that we add back. Account payable was 12,900 and it decreased. That means we paid off our debt, which is a cash. We use cash to pay off that debt. So we are going to subtract the cash that went out, the cash outflow. So the difference between these two, decrease in payable, will give us 2,155, which is a negative number. Okay, inventory was 186,700, and inventory increased. Okay, why did inventory increase? Because we purchased more inventory, and we use cash to purchase it. So we are going to have a negative number. So we are going to do 7,620, and we are going to sum up everything here to give us the answer. So we're going to have 8, 2, 4. Okay, so our correct answer is 504,285,000. So let's see if we have the correct answer here, which is C right here. So calculations, and as you can see here, it says this page requires scrolling, so you just scroll down and then continue with that. So with calculations, one of the questions that I love on the CMA, because when you are right, you know you are right. Okay, you are wrong. But theory questions could be tricky. Okay, theory questions could be tricky. So let's continue with and go on and move on with our next question, which is question number 8. Let's read it and see what we are required to find. A company sells a product that is aimed at the broad mass market, but is perceived to be unique. Okay, this is giving me something out. To be unique throughout the industry. The company is earning above average. Okay. Returns on the product. Which one of the following is most appropriate for the competitive strategy followed by? Good. Before I look at the answer choices, I want to talk about the unique and above average. Unique means this is a different product. It says different or premium. Okay. Premium actually is here above. Okay. Because we are selling it at a premium price. That's why we have returns of the product that's above average. Okay, so it's different because it's unique and we have premium. So when I look at my answer choice, I realize that D is differential. So I'm not going to waste time on anything else and select D, which is the correct answer, and move on so I can save time. Okay, there are some things you have to remember. Once you remember them, it makes solving problems easier, okay, or less difficult. So let's move on to question number 9. So we have here, let's see. All right, let's read it. A project manager is asked to provide an explanation regarding 2,220 favorable material variance, okay, on playground equipment. After further analysis, the project manager is able to break down the material variance to unfavorable. Okay, so material, which is quantity, is unfavorable price variance, and favorable quantity variance. Unfavorable price variance. Okay, so the price is unfavorable and quantity is favorable. All right. So the best explanation of the variances is that you notice that I didn't use the numbers because I glanced through, I just look at the answer choices and I realized that I do not need numbers to answer this because we don't have numbers there. We don't need to calculate anything. So now to think about this, price variance is unfavorable. Who is responsible for it? Is the purchasing department because they purchase the unit or the materials. So purchasing department is responsible. Quantity, that's how much we use, is producing or production department is responsible for quantities used. So that means that means production department did a good job, and purchasing department technically for now didn't do a good job. So let's see answer choices and see which one matches. Decision by purchasing department to use a new supplier resulted in the purchase of the material for a lower price. All right. If we purchase the materials at a lower price, we wouldn't have had unfavorable. That means we spent less than we planned. So that would be favorable. So this is not the correct answer. A is not the correct answer. B, excellent scheduling by the production department enabled the purchasing department to reduce shipping costs. Well, shipping cost is part of the product price. So if shipping costs were reduced, we would have favorable because our material price will be less than, actual one will be less than the standard. So this is not the correct answer. Purchasing department purchased a higher quality material, resulting in less wasted materials. Okay, great. This looks like our correct answer. What is happening here is it is explaining why we have unfavorable. We have unfavorable because purchasing department purchased high quality material. Because it's high quality, we spent more than we're supposed to, or more than we planned to. And as a result, quantity or production department use less materials, because if materials has quality or is qualitative, you are going to use less of it. If it's crap, you are going to use a lot of it. So that is why we have favorable variance for production department. So this makes sense. This is the correct answer, which is C, and we are going to move on. But let's look at D, okay, for the sake of explanation. Human Resources Department failed to hire adequate trained workers, causing material to be wasted. Okay, if materials were wasted, we would have had unfavorable quantity variance. So we know we're going to stick with answer choice C, which is the correct answer. Now let's move on to question number 10. Let's move on. And all right, I'm gonna get rid of this annotation. This is a short question. This also, you need to answer it quicker, okay, than all the other questions. When assessing a company's internal control structure, policies, and procedure, the primary consideration is whether they good. What's the purpose of internal control? That is to attest, okay, that the financial statement, okay, financial statement is presented fairly presented. So once I know this is the primary, this is the purpose of internal control, I'll go ahead and just look at answer question or answer choice that is in line with what the primary purpose is. And as we can see here, affect the financial statement assertion is the correct answer. So I'm going to answer that D and move on so I can save time. So I'll go to question number 11. Get rid of this. Okay, question number 11. The primary advantage of an ERP system is great. So this is also a short question that you can utilize this time. Enterprise resource planning. Okay, what does it do? It's an integration of enterprise-wide information. Okay, so once we have this integration of enterprise-wide information of database, okay, we have all this database centralized, put into one place. Okay, so the correct answer here, as you look at this, is answer choice D. So we're going to answer that and move on so we can save time. Question number 12. Let's come here and clear this. Okay, question number 12. When using the statement of cash flows to evaluate a company's continued solvency, the most important factor to consider is the cash. Okay, what is a solvency? You need to know what solvency is. The ability to pay debt as they occur, okay, or as they incur, as they arise and things, okay, as they arise. All right, as they arise. So this tells me is that we are dealing with operating. We are dealing with operating activity. Great. So when I look at my answer choices, I only have one, which is option B, that has operating cash flow from or used for operating. So certainly and definitely the correct answer is B, because we are dealing with an operating activity. So cash flow or flows from use for operating activities. So B is the correct answer. I'm going to solve this. This will maybe my last question, my last thing to answer, and then I'm going to give you some guidance on how to have access to this simulation so you can try it and solve some questions as you get them. Okay. All right, question number 13 says, after leading the market for the past decade, the growth of product ABC is slowing down. So that's a key, slowing down in the stage of its life. The product is still generating significant amount of cash. All right, so significant amount of cash. And this and do it better. Okay, significant amount of cash over the company's investment into new product diversity. According to the BCG growth share matrix, product ABC is most likely. Good. I know what the answer is from just looking at these two clues. Okay, I know what the answer is. With BCG, it starts from, depending on how you write a circle. Okay, depending on how you write a circle, it starts from the right to the left, or you can have from the left to the right. Okay, but we have here, we have growth and we have market share. So we have market share and we have growth here. And it starts with question mark. So question mark is here. And then we have star. And then we have cash cow. And then we have dog. All right. Cash cow. Think about this as cash. The market share as cash. Okay. So it describes, and the growth goes up this way and cash is going up that way. It describes this as slowing down. So it's not growing that much. So it is here in the growth section. It is in this section in the growth. All right. And it also says a significant amount of cash. That means it is right here. So it is this box that we are describing. Slow growth and significant cash. So think about market share as cash. Okay, significant cash. So this is describing a cash cow. So doing this, I'm going to go ahead and select B, which is the correct answer, B. If the question were to say, or the statement were to say that it is growing, or it just has a growth, then that was a star. That would be a star if it is growing. But because it's slowing down in growth, it's a cash cow that falls in here. So I'm going to solve. This will be the last question I'll probably solve, and then I will share with you how to get access to this link to simulate this simulation to try it yourself. It was created by the IMA, and it's available and accessible to everyone who is interested. These are things that I want you to be exposed to, so you can try them and utilize all the resources that the IMA has provided for everyone to succeed as at taking the exams. So we're going to solve this last question, which is question number 14. Yeah, question number 14. A company, let me do this and annotate. Okay. A company has a direct labor variance that is favorable. Okay, so direct labor variance is favorable. Of the following, the most serious concern the company may have about this variance is. All right, so I'm going to try and answer this before I see the answer choices. Okay, so the labor variance, direct labor variance is favorable. So labor is favorable. That means what happened is our actual price, okay, how much we paid for, okay, is less than the standard price, how much we budgeted. Why is this less? Okay, the possibility could be that we have less experienced people, because if you have less experienced people, we are going to pay them less. If you have high experience, we're going to pay them more. Okay, and that means once we have, yeah, so that is the only reason or the only way we could have favorable. Okay, well, that could also be a problem for the company. Once we have less experienced people, we could spend more hours. We spend more hours, that means we could have unfavorable with efficiency. So efficiency could be unfavorable. So we are offsetting, we pay less in price, but we're going to spend more hours to do it. Okay, so this is what I see here. So I'm going to look through my answer choices and see which one matches with it. The circumstances giving rise to the favorable variance will not continue. We don't know that, so we can just get rid of it. The production manager may not be using human resources as efficient as possible. That is not the case. It does not help us with this question. I'm going to get rid of it. The cause of the favorable variance may result in larger unfavorable variance in the value chain. Great. Okay. So this looks like a correct answer, because as I explained here, we could have unfavorable variance because we are paying less and having people that are inexperienced, we could have unfavorable variance in efficiency. So the correct answer is C. Okay, this simulation has 25 questions, but I'm going to pause here for the sake of time. And I want you to have access to it. It's free. It was created by the IMA. So go ahead and look at the video description. Okay, the video description, this video description, and click on the link that I've given there. Once you click on the link, you can have access to this simulation and practice it and familiarize yourself with what the CMA actually looks like. If you are preparing for the CMA, if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me through email or through comments. Anything you want, any topic you want me to help you with, I can do my best to see what I can do. But good luck on your exams, and remember to stay calm.